Good evening and welcome to the All Things Borough podcast. I think this is episode 48. I'm Alan and I'm joined by Tom and Simon. Good evening, lads. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Just in the middle of a bit of an illness, but beyond that, it's been a nice,
Still
relaxing week.
hungover? You're still hungover, you mean, from
Not
the awards night?
it might have been a result of certain events of that night, but no, I think it's a skin infection. So, but no, yeah, still recovering. But if I cough or anyone sees me coughing and I mute my mic, that is why. I'm not
I,
just
Just make
screaming
sure you
into
put
my
yourself on.
hand.
I
Make sure you
did.
put yourself on mute when you do that.
Tom, I
Yeah,
told you she. I told you
will.
she was a munter and not to go near her, mate. I did tell you.
I don't. It's not that kind of infection, but
Yeah,
but
it's
it's been a nice, relaxing week.
you got to be careful of those pus and rashes, Tom. That's all I can say. All right.
Simon,
How's your week been, Simon?
how's your week been?
Oh, I've had a wonderful week. It's been beautiful. I've only been in I've only worked a couple of days at in the office, not doing very
Shock.
much. And then I've worked on the elections yesterday. That was all right. Long day but easy. And then had a
Yeah,
nice lie-in this morning. It was all right. Took my mum out for a bit of lunch though earlier. So that was nice. Picked picked
very
up
nice.
picked up some things from Mike the Kit Man earlier, which is nice. So shout out to Mike, top lad.
Shout out, Mike.
Visit the
Yeah,
club.
yeah,
Pictures looking quite nice earlier. Quite nice considering it had 3 games on it last Sunday and looked all right. It was right. I'll stay
yeah.
after that.
No,
But, yeah, looking all right. It was good. Yeah, the youth team were training over on Moor Road as well when I was over there. So
oh,
I had a quick look
very
in.
good, very
Yeah,
good.
I asked if they wanted someone to go and goal for them. They told me to F off.
Well, you're tall enough for it.
Yeah, a mini goal. Yeah, just about reached the crossbar.
But yeah, so I've had a bit of an easy week. I've been off since Wednesday because my work van is in the garage being re-wrapped with the new company logos and stuff. So I've been off all week.
Yeah, boring.
Anybody's seen
Move on.
if anybody's seen all our socials and they've seen me walking, seen
Seen a
all the
lot of the
videos of me
dog.
walking my dog,
Yeah,
washing.
I thought you changed careers from it. I thought you're a dog walker these days, but I realise it's the same dog each time, so it's not great.
Yeah, yeah, no, she enjoys it. She enjoys. She didn't enjoy the bath I had to give her this morning after she jumped in far too many puddles.
So you,
Uh,
I was been told you jumped in with her apparently. First one this year, you said.
no chance, no
Yeah.
chance. No, maybe to drag her out,
I
but
thought
no,
you'd
yeah,
combed her hair and gonna put it on your head.
no. No,
No?
too many puddles. There's nothing wrong with my hair. Too, she jumped in too many puddles basically, and I had to give her a
What hair?
wash. She didn't look at me.
He needs to turn his head upside down, doesn't he, Tom? Got it wrong with hair. Got more hair on his chin, hasn't he? Dear? Oh dear.
There's plenty there. Trust me, there's plenty there. I have the same amount of hair as you. It's just not as long as yours.
Rubbish.
It's
Fucking
definitely
lies.
not as long as Tom's.
You can't seriously say you actually want to look like that, surely.
No, not either of you. No. Anyway,
Anyway. enough of
anyway,
that.
let's crack on. Let's crack on. Yeah, so we've got a very special guest on tonight. We are joined by Simon Gardner, the Farnborough chairman. Good evening, Simon.
Good evening, all. How is everyone?
We're
Your
all
hair
good
looks
as well.
right to me, and
Yeah,
Tom just needs to wash his and brush his every now and again,
Yeah.
and Simon just needs to let his hair go.
Simon hasn't. I was saying this off air before you came on, Simon Garbo. That Simon has had the same hairstyle since he was probably about 12 or 13. Hasn't changed.
I can believe that. Just embrace it. So it's going.
I've just got to come over like Bobby Charlton. Just hope the wind don't blow too hard. That's all. It all comes off.
Anyway, Simon, how have you been doing? It's now the season's finished. You been busy?
Extremely busy this week. I've had 2 meetings. Been speaking to clubs. Had a funeral last Friday. For the Dartford chairman, Dave Shepherd. Unfortunately, tomorrow I'm at Oxford versus Peterborough, first leg of the playoff final. Sunday I'm at Wembley for Solihull versus Bromley, I think, for the promotion final. Tuesday I'm at Aldershot. Try not to swear. I'm a guest on at Aldershot to pick me and Kevin Dyer are going to that.
What game's that Aldershot side? Is that the England Sea game?
Yeah, I think
No, the England Sea game's on Monday.
Yeah, there's actually a game tonight down at the ground. There's a commercial corporate game today. Tomorrow there's just a fundraising game down at the Farnborough. There's still lots of football going on. Just charity and cup finals, but it's the Aldershot Senior Cup, I think. I
Yeah.
do believe that Westfield have got in the final. No,
Okay,
Bagshot
Bagshot
Lee.
Lee.
Bagshot Lee.
I think it's
Bagshot Lee.
Bagshot Lee versus
decent.
Westfield.
Yeah, so that'd
Oh,
be
good
that'd be the same final as last year then. But it's nice to go there. I mean, I've got a good relationship with Aldershot. They've been very good to us this year.
Yeah,
You know, they've loaned us players and also they've loaned us equipment to make sure we get the games on.
Yeah.
So you know, we have got a good relationship with them. I get on well with Shahid, and I get on with Terry, and you know, pretty much Tommy, the manager. I know them all.
It's funny how things change, isn't it? So a few years ago, it would, you know, it never would have happened, probably, would it? You know, 5 or 6 years ago, but now it's a
Well,
big difference, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, I think the thing is, with regards to that, is obviously I've been involved in Farnborough for 11 years, and one thing I've always tried to do is try and get on with the neighbours. Now I know that some of the supporters don't like each other. I know there's history between the two clubs, and maybe the odd bit of history between Woking. But one thing I've always done, and we've done as a club since we've been in there, is try to get on with everyone.
Yeah.
And behind the scenes, for a number of years, we've sort of been helping each other out. We speak to each other. We ask each other advice and things. You know, nothing to do with players and stuff. If I'm not sure about anything, it's when doing this job as a chairman, you've got to make sure you make right decisions. So if I'm not sure, I can speak to people that I know that I can get advice off. And that's the FA, the National League, and loads of clubs, non-league and the EFL clubs. And Shahid, to be fair, has been really good to us, and he's given me advice. I'll probably see him on Sunday. Normally, when we go to Wembley, they normally sit next to each other, so I can't get away from it. But yeah, it's one of them. It is a good. But as you said, though, over the last couple of years, the club as a whole, the Farnborough Football Club as a whole, has grown massively in the community and the fan base and everything. It's getting bigger. It is getting bigger. So that's credit to you lot, the supporters, the volunteers. It's you lot that deserve the pat on the back. It's not me. I know people say, "Oh yeah, but you're the chairman," but trust me, when the wheels come off, everyone will be gunning for me. So you know, you need to take the chairman. We need to get rid of you and stuff. I don't. You know, I don't get down to it stupid, but I don't really take the praise well, if you know what I mean, because when other people do the work, I don't take their glory away from them. So, you know, it's something I've never done. It's something that my mum taught me was, you know, if someone else does the work, make sure that they get the recognition for it, which is what I do, and that's the way I live my life. So, but the club has been absolutely fantastic, and it's growing massively, absolutely massively, and it's a credit to everyone involved, really.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I know what you say about not taking the praise, but you know, I think we all would agree that you've done a really good job as chairman over the time you've been there, and things have grown steadily over the years, in a good way. You know, we're on a good financial footing. We're on a good relationship with our local rivals, as it were, and you know, we're getting. I think the playing squad is improving every year. So yeah, you know, yeah, we us fans can take a bit of credit for it, but you can take some as well. So yeah, well done for that.
Well, it'd be the if there's any credit I'll take, and Rob won't mind this, is the fact that, you know, I've got Duncan Saunders involved, BR Saunders, who are kit sponsors and now ground sponsors, and in return he's got Alan and Eddie involved as directors. So, you know, I'll sort of take the credit for getting them three involved, which has only made the foundations of this club so much stronger. You know, and then, you know, let's not forget Rob as well. No, but I speak to Rob the same again. Rob doesn't like praise. He doesn't like to take the limelight. He doesn't really have his photo taken. He doesn't want it, and he always sort of throws me in front of the camera. But we were talking the other day, and I said when we took over, the club was sort of at its lowest, probably relegated 2 leagues, no money. Bailiff turning up at the door, the historic debt that was racked up by the people that used to run the club was absolutely outstanding. And it was like, you're thinking, how the hell can you let something get into that position? So we dealt with it. You know, as much as people, older people might say that, you know, might not be Spencer's favourite, but I can honestly say, and I'll go on record and say, I came over with Spencer, and at the time, if it wasn't for him, that you wouldn't have had a Farnborough. You know, so I think Spencer needs to be recognised for that. And and then obviously,
absolutely.
Once Rob got involved in 2016, Rob allowed us, me and Kevin, to basically carry on running it. But he was there in the background, and then he started coming to the games, and people didn't know who he was. We knew who he was, and he's walking around looking at things that he could do to improve it, and so on. And then it's like anything with this club. Once it gets it, he hooks into you. You can't get rid of it. And now all of a sudden he's there every day. He's on the phone about the club every day. He's sorting everything out. It's become his full-time job, really, and which means that me and Kevin can free up and do other stuff now, which is that's why I personally think the club is growing, because there's more of a team now rather than one or two people doing it. So that's why I think they're doing it. You know, they deserve the recognition as well as me. But you're right. He did say to me, Rob, he said, take the praise. He said, because when it goes bad, they're going to want you out. He said, so just take it, you know, enjoy the good times and don't worry about bad times. But I think my CV reads okay at the moment, because from when I came into Farnborough to where it is now, it's completely different. Other end, it's been flipped on its head, and it's in a positive place. And you know, if I was to leave in the next few years, I know that when I left it, I'd be leaving because the people that had been taken over were the right people for it, and they would take the club on more. But we've got Alan and Eddie coming, and Duncan, very passionate people. They're doers, not sayers. So I know, and I can honestly say this now to all the supporters listening to this, and you three as well, is I know the club is in such a strong position, and you know, which to reassure the supporters is fantastic. But at the same time, we're not going to change what we've been doing for the last 6-7 years. We've got budgets, we got basically we got targets, we got everything, and we're going to stick to them. We are getting more of an increase of attendances, but like anything else in life, the cost goes up for everything. So all that you're doing is counteracting all the extra money you're getting for that to pay for the extra beer we got to get in and stuff like that. But it definitely helps. It massively helps, and I think you as supporters you're benefiting, because when you come to the club now, there's a good atmosphere there. You know, you all enjoy it. I mean, you know, I was absolutely gutted when we didn't get promotion against Weymouth, but obviously I can't really show that to supporters, especially when I've got supporters coming up to me and say, I don't care, we didn't make the playoffs. We've had the best season we've had for years. And they were happy. And they were happy. And I couldn't basically sit there and be sort of like frustrated in front of them, as much as we all were. Rob and Spencer was absolutely devastated, mate, because we thought we could do it. But Averley, God bless them, they went and beat Bath, and that was history. But even still, I agree with the supporters. It's been one hell of a season. So
I mean, on that, Simon, as well, we probably branch on nicely to what we really come on for. Is how do you feel this season's gone as a whole? What's your main feelings on things? Any other than obviously the Weymouth game, or not the game itself, but the actual the outcome after the match.
I think
anything negative and anything really really positive you can give us.
There's loads of positives, and then there's obviously a few negatives through the season. Now we done some big marquee signings at the beginning of last year. Everybody was excited. We were excited as a club. Now people from all around the country were saying, you know, Farnborough spent a lot of money here on these players, you know, and we were hoping to sort of like start the league on fire, really, with the key signings that we signed. But it didn't happen. And we were sort of frustrated, and that's for a lot of reasons. And I'm not blaming the players. Don't think for one second I am. But you know, there's injuries, form for the whole team, not just the players that we signed and that. And it didn't start off the best. And then we sort of had a dip halfway through, just before Christmas. Really, we lost 4 games on the spin, where we're thinking, oh my God, we don't really want to go out with a whimper. And at that stage, from a club's point of view, we're sort of looking slightly below us, you know, thinking if we lose the next 2 games and they win it, we could be dragged into a relegation fight. So then we're thinking, right, come on, what is it we can do? And, you know, give credit to Spencer. Spencer was tremendous. He then realised the problem, dealt with the problem very quickly, i.e. loaned the players out, moved the players on. And we basically got a bunch of younger players that were thriving and wanting to do well. And as you can see by results in the last 3 months, they never let us down. And so as a manager, it's a tough one, because do you want to take a chance on a 16, 17-year-old kid that hasn't been proven? Because we all know that it could either be thumbs up or thumbs down. If it's thumbs down, you're going to criticise for taking a chance on him. So sometimes the manager would choose a proven player. Now, you choose someone that's been around the block and that, and when they drop out of full-time football and come part-time, I don't think their hearts are in it, to be fair, if I'm going to be totally honest. Apart from one individual or two individuals, well, maybe even three. Now, Sam Deering, for one, he's played full-time football. The legend that is Ricky Holmes, he's come in, and since he's come in, I think personally, people might disagree, and directors might disagree, but I think Ricky's probably been one of our key signings for the last number of years, because it's not just about his football, it's about everything else. It's everything else that fella does. Go on.
I think with Ricky, there was especially when I noticed when he got injured and he started coaching. That's when I feel like the step 3 season, the title charge, and everything since, it felt like a new side in a way. Weirdly, from losing a player for injury, I've never seen such positive impact on the rest of the team in terms of him being able to coach. And
well, we've been very fortunate,
and I think.
Is he still there, Tom?
Sure can.
Yeah, all right. I lost you there.
You broke up a bit.
Am I breaking up a bit?
Yeah, you did a bit. But I think we're very fortunate.
I think I'm back now.
We had Steve Baker in. Yeah. Okay, experienced player, played youth team at Tottenham and things like that. Got a wealth of experience. He's coming, and then we got Neil Baker coming. Now everyone knows Neil's dad, Keith. Neil loves the club, absolutely loves the club, and literally, he's come in. He's added something else, and then the three of them with Spencer and Dave Hill, the goalkeeping coach. Let's not leave Dave Hill out of this. They've got a good team, good management team there, real good management team. And between the 5 of them with Spencer as well, they would discuss stuff. And the thing with Spencer is, for those that don't know what he does, after the game, Spencer will lock himself in a room, wait to get the video highlights of the team that he's playing next. And he will, for the next 24, 48 hours, study everything. He hates losing with a passion. He really does hate losing. Even when his son's been there, Jake or Oliver, they've been there, and I've said to him, you might want to go out tonight, because obviously we've lost, because Spencer takes everything. He really does. He's very devoted to his the football and the management, and literally the team that they've got, the management team we've got at the moment, has been absolutely first class. And I think that played a big part to it towards the end of the season. Yeah, because the players they brought in, your Joe Haig, people like that, even Taylor Clark from Wickham.
These Lewis.
These are people that have been around the block, and it's sort of like the management been around the block. They identified that, and even now, I mean, they're working hard to make sure that we've got a very good team for next year, without a shadow of doubt. So, so we went through the bad patch where we lost 4 on the spin, and we was losing, lost 1-0 in the cup to Western, and it's like thinking, oh my God, is it going to be one of them seasons again? But you know what? And I will say this: that the supporters didn't stop believing. I know they got a bit disappointed, which we all get disappointed. I went through the same at Oxford this year. We had Liam Manning as our manager, and we were in the playoffs, second in the league, and he just up to left and went to Bristol City. With that, they appointed, and I think I'm pleased that Lampard was linked. There was loads of good managers linked. Yeah. Then they give it to Des Buckingham, who used to coach at Oxford, and he'd been managing over in India or something like that. And he come in, and the opposite said, oh my God, what he give it to him for? Blah blah blah. And I made the comment on it saying, look, we support the club. The club think they've made the right decision. Only time will tell. Now, we got Peterborough tomorrow. We played them 2 weekends ago at the Cassan. We beat them 5-0. And Darren Ferguson came on and said it could have been 10. The way they played was absolutely outstanding. Could have been 10. We were very unlucky against Who did we draw 1-1 with? I can't remember. We drew 1-1. We should have had a blatant penalty, and it never got given and that. And it's just one of them games where
The
we
same
just
Peterborough side that won the EFL trophy as well.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So that's who we got tomorrow. So and we're at home tomorrow. So I'm thinking if we play like we did against them and we can get a 2 or 3 goal lead and then go to Peterborough, I think we might be able to sneak into the final. But it's going to be a tough 2 games. So I think every way that I've looked at football this year has been playoffs, really. So it's good. It helps me take my mind off Farnborough sometimes. But
yeah, I have to say, so I've got a bit of a soft spot for Peterborough myself because my dad used to work up there, so I've been up there a fair few times at London Road.
Listen, you'll get over it. Don't worry about it. I'll send you a picture of me and Barry Fry.
Yeah, I was going to say, Barry Fry, he was fantastic.
Yeah, he's a lovely man.
My dad met him a few times.
A funny little story. We was at Wembley, right, and we was there for the non-league day, probably 2 years ago. And what they do is when you go there first, you go into, it might be the Bobby Moore Street, where they just give you free drinks and that, and they give you free canapes around there. And I'm there, and I've met Barry a few times. He's come up to me, "Hey mate, couldn't tell me where my table is, could you?" I said, "What are you on about?" He was, "My table. Look, I've got this ticket from my table." He said, "I can't find my table anywhere." I went, "Barry, that's for the meal after the game, mate." I said, "You can sit anywhere you like in it now." He went, "Thank God you told me that." He said, "I was going to turf that fella off."
Yeah. My dad used to he used to go to some of the meetings at the council because he was obviously trying to get the council to help the club out at the time when he was there. This was sort of good sort of 15, 20 years ago, and he was a proper hard bargain, hard taskmaster, and really tried to get a bargain out of the council, trying to get them to do things for him and everything. And sometimes he'd go bananas and storm out when they would do what he'd ask. So yeah, he was proper hardcore.
I wouldn't like to do business with him because when we went up, sort of went to our seats and that, and was having a chat with him and everything, sat down, and then he come up to me and he went, "How well do you know Barry?" I said, "Well, I wouldn't say very well, mate, but I know him." He said, "Right, I've got to speak to him about a player." I went, "Good luck." He went, I said, "Good luck, mate." I said, "I don't do business with him. I only speak to him." He went, "Good luck with that, mate."
So, there's that famous video on YouTube about Barry Fry negotiating in there with that player.
Yeah,
and he said,
with his little gavel.
He wants 900 quid. He said, "How much?" He said, "You're not getting 900 quid, mate." And it's like 12 hours later, he's does the deal at like he's at 650, and they give him like a bonus for this and bonus for that and bonus for this.
Yeah. I think that's what you've got to do that with the players nowadays because no club can afford to pay players, especially if the new rule comes into play, which I'm not sure if everyone knows, that we can name 7 substitutes on the bench.
Yeah.
And you can use up to 5 now.
That is also and it's but there's not the.
And that's coming down. That's coming down to the National League South, is it?
Well, that's the votes going for it at the moment. It got knocked back at the EGM in the National North and South, but the National League accepted it. Now, the argument is clubs with a lot of money means they can sit 7 first-teamers on the bench and not got a problem who they pick in. So when you think at the moment they've done their 3 subs and then you've got 2 subs and then you look at your bench and think, hold a minute, I've got 2 academy boys and someone that I'm not sure can play in that position. It basically hands the benefits to the other team because they've got 7 first teamers and that. It means we can get 2 goalkeepers on the bench. A lot of clubs are happy with that, but it just means you've got to pay 7 players and you can only use 5. If you have to use 5, if you use 3, that means you've got to pay 4 people to sit on the bench, which is why a lot of clubs that go out now and sign these players on stupid money, I don't think they realise if that rule comes in, they've got to have 7. If they've got to name 7, or they probably won't name 7, but they can name 7 players on the bench. And if you're paying someone even £100 a game, a week, and you've got 4 of them sat on the bench, that's £400 you're paying out for nothing.
Yeah.
That's why we want to keep the budget down.
I guess if the rule does come in, I guess they don't have to name 7 players on the bench. They don't. They don't have to do it. They can just name 5 as normal. And just use 3, or maybe use all 5. But
we've looked at it and we thought about this is why we don't. Towards the end of the season, people saying we've only got 4 on the bench. Well, we can only use 3 of them. And what's the point of having someone that's going to have to pay £250 to sit on the bench? So that's business. It's probably not what supporters want to see. They might want to see the bench full up with 7 players, but we got to pay them all. And and what we've said before is it's business at the end of the day. Now, you still get one or two. I've seen one or two negative people still on Farnborough. Whatever we seem to do, they seem to know 2 weeks before we do it, and like that's the worst kept secret ever, and things like that. And you think, I don't know how these people know this, because the club phone us up and then we normally put it out on the same day to stop any rumour and stuff. So it's just people that want to grab the 5-minute glory. And these are people. Some of them are supporters that have been down the ground that don't turn up now, but I think it's because they're not getting any notice now. They want to try and get 5 minutes of fame, and you can't stop people like that. That's the bad side of social media. But the good side is people like yourselves and that are helping promote the club and the supporters, which is why we all do this, is for the supporters, and for them to benefit, because all the little kids, it's amazing. One of the other directors, I think it was Eddie, said when he was driving to the ground the other week, he come off the M3, and as he come down Priory Road, he's seen all the kids with their farmer kits on walking down, and it made him so proud just to be part of that club. And I think that's what it's about, really. Football. It's about making people have given something to look forward to at the weekends, and that. But at the same time, make sure we do it in an affordable manner. So
it probably brings us on to a good mention actually for the club sponsor, Tritec Consulting, who've going to sponsor our podcast actually as well. So shout out to Matt, and that's how Matt got involved in the club. He started coming down to games and really enjoyed it. Wanted to be a part of it, and then wanted to be a bigger part, and decided to sponsor the club. And he's got a 3-year sponsorship with the club, isn't it? That he's got.
Yeah, so, he's got a 3-year sponsorship with the deal with the club, and God bless Matt. He's trying to do everything. And what I keep have to try and tell him to do is not overdo it.
Yeah.
Because as long as we're probably one of the only few football clubs that won't take advantage of people when it comes to sponsorship and money. We all want money, but we want people to be able to afford it. There's nothing worse than if Matt's committed to a 3-year deal to us, and then a year and a half into it, he says, "Oh look, I've got to stop now because I'm having to sell my house and I can't afford to keep it," and things like that. It's like we wouldn't live with ourselves. So what we do is, I always, when he says he wants to do this, he wants to put some money behind the bars, and are you sure you can afford this, mate? Because I don't want your family or anything going without. I know it's going through the business, and his business is going really well, and he's such a likeable fella. Matt Rose,
he is,
he really is. And I keep saying, look, let's just we'll do this. We'll do this for you. I'll give the players a few drinks and stuff. You haven't got to keep buying the players drinks, and because try and help them out and not take advantage of them. But people like that is what it's the football club that have attracted people like that. See, as you said, Matt came down to watch the games, and he just got hooked in it, and because
he loves it.
Nice thing is as well. He brings his kids along as well, and Dom, his son, does the mini kickers as well, and Matt's got involved with doing the coaching as well. He's done some of his badges. Does the coaching in the Sunday mornings as well, and it's really good. Just a shout out to.
He goes and watches the women's game sometimes as well.
Yeah,
He's got time on a Sunday afternoon to do that, so he loves it.
Really fantastic. Properly involved. That's what you want from the main sponsor, isn't it? Someone who's really involved.
Yeah, we got it. We got BR Saunders Transport. Duncan's there. His dad comes along as well, who is the big boss of the company. Comes along.
Met them both. Really nice people.
And Paul, and they're such nice. They said they're such nice people, but they're very passionate people as well. And his dad's looking at stuff, and he looks at the ground and everything. I think he's proud to have his company name associated with the club. He knows that his son's is now a director of the club, so his son's got a say. We've got 6 directors. For those that don't know, we've got 4 directors. That's myself, Rob, Prince, Phil Martin, and Duncan Saunders, and 2 non-exec directors, which is Eddie and Alan. And I think it's Eddie Rook and Alan. I'm going to forget his name now. That's why I didn't want to say their names, because I'm going to forget it. And it's on my phone, which I can't use because I'm doing this. And but basically, they're very passionate. They've come in. They wanted projects to do, which they're going to do. They love the crowd. They love the supporters. They're so proud of the club and what we've done. and they're proud of the supporters as well. Which is when you've got people like that getting involved in the club, it can only be good for the club, really.
Yeah. I have to say,
Is it something that
sorry,
is it
you
something that
mentioned.
the
I know
club?
you mentioned Duncan. Sorry, you mentioned Duncan. He's I don't think I've ever met somebody as nice, but also someone with their feet firmly placed on the ground. You know what I mean? He's a proper realist. You know, this doesn't get. You know, might think some people would call it maybe a lack of passion, but it certainly isn't. It's more kind of a realism of how things are,
Yeah,
and you know,
yeah,
Quite a
and,
direct sort of approach.
yeah,
because what we said when Duncan come in, when he first came in, it said I got Duncan to come in, and literally the first thing I said to him was, "Don't put your hand in your pocket." I said, "I want you just to get the feel of the club and everything first, get the feel of the people and the supporters." He come in and he was like a kid in a candy shop. I love it here. I'll do that. I'll do that. And we're like, Duncan, don't worry about it. I said, we've got a plan, we've got a structure, and we want to try and do things right because. We don't want to take loads of money off Duncan and then suddenly turn around and say, look, I can't sponsor it next year. I can't do anything next year for the same reasons spoke about Matt. So we do it collectively. So what we do is me and Duncan have been going to business meetings and to stand up. And I hope Duncan watches this because he's been doing the presentations. We have a 60-second presentation to do. Right now, everyone thinks I talk for England, right? But Duncan got up and I set the stopwatch on it. 3 minutes 45 seconds. He done on his 60-second presentation. Luckily, they did put the clock at the end of the screen, and but I made sure everyone knew about it. And at the end of the meeting, everyone said, "Oh, what did you think?" I'd like to apologise for Duncan's speech. It went on 3 times as long.
yeah. He'd have been in big trouble on the spread bet on that one, wouldn't he?
Oh, mate, yeah. Honestly, God, but they're all good people. You know, you got Lorraine as well. She's not really been at the club much lately. She's sort of organising. I think somebody's taken over the community trust. I think it might be Kelly.
Yeah, it's Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's coming over. She does fantastic work. Suzanne does fantastic work. It's just we've got a host of really good volunteers at this football club, and as I keep saying, I know I'm like a stuck record, but without them and the supporters, then I wouldn't be able to do this by myself. Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, you're the chairman. You've done a fantastic job," but take all of them away from me, and I don't think it would be the same.
No. But I think this is what you need. You need all these people like Duncan, Kelly, and all that, and then Lorraine, and that all these volunteers that have that passion for the club and want to do the right thing for the club. And like going back on the sponsors, we've noticed this season that, especially at the sort of the beginning and the middle of the season, there were loads of sponsors being announced. And is it a conscious thing that the club was doing to well, I don't know, to generate a bit of cash, but also it's the good feel good factor of the club that people these sponsors want to come in.
Yeah, because we're getting. Whereas before we used to pick up go through the internet and the old yellow pages and all that, phone everyone up, trying to sponsorship in. Because within the community now, there's people that have come to the football. When we've been to a business meeting, we're there and we're trying to push stuff for the women's football. And then someone come up and say, I actually come to the main games. I bring my kids to the main games. They absolutely love it. They won't let me miss a game and things like that. It's fantastic. We're interested in getting involved in it somehow. And it's the same again. We've got pretty much the main sponsors. I mean, we've got next year, exclusive here. I won't mention the company's names, but we've got new warm-up top sponsors. We got sponsors to go on the arm and sleeve as well as the National League and the back of the shorts as well. So we got people that are really happy to be involved in the football club, and you're thinking, well, you want to try and reward them. You know, if they give you money, then we got to at least get a banner up. If you look behind the goal, can you see the fence? There's banners going up on the fence now.
Yeah.
You know, we could probably fill that. Give it 2 years, and that'd be filled up with sponsors. We're looking at everything because. At the same time, we sort of like until we sort of like do the work that provisionally we want to do, we're sort of limited for space, i.e. the Platinum Lounge. We can only have so many sponsors in there on a day. If it was to change and we was to build outwards, and it makes the Platinum Lounge a hell of a lot bigger, and which means then we can look after the corporate side a little bit better. Then people are going to get value for money. My son's friend, my son works up in the city, and there's people up there that even the kids they earn a lot of money working in the city, and one of them approached the club and said, "Right, I'll give you £2,500. What do I get for that?" And this club, in the next league up to us, turned around and said, "We can have a banner for that. It's £2,500."
Wow.
Right. So I turned around and he said to me, my son contacted me, he said, "Look, next league up, this is what they've offered him. And what can you do?" I said, "Well, we can give him a banner. We give him 4 season tickets. He can get he can have a banner on the ground and at the top. It'll be in the programme, it'll be on the website. He'll come in and we'll charge you £2,000 for all that." And so he went back and told his mate, and he went, "Why can't the other team do that?" And he said, "Well,
Yeah.
I just want money. I just want to take your money." And the only thing we can't offer them, apart from the National League side, is occasionally they're going to be on TNT Sports, which is good publicity. But we
Yeah.
do well, and we're in the National League, non-league, and all the highlights are on YouTube and everything else. That's just as good.
Yeah.
We go in every single non-league paper. Sometimes if I'm up in Liverpool and I'm about to drive home on a Sunday, and if I have missed a match, the first thing I do is buy the non-league paper before I set off in Liverpool. And Farnborough, the match report's up there, so it's up there in Liverpool. So, and it's good if it's a good photo of one of our players, and that is good publicity, really. So, there's ways and means of looking after people, and I think we're trying our best. I'm not going to say we're 100% perfect, because everyone makes mistakes, but we try our best to look after any potential sponsor and any current sponsor, and look after them. So yeah, we have got an abundance of sponsors that want to put small sponsorship package. We're working on a new package system for sponsors. So once we've got it all finalised, we can send it out to people and give them the choice of what it is they want to get involved in. So rather than
brilliant.
dictate,
That's brilliant.
rather than dictate to them that this is what you've got to give us and this is what you get, let them pick what they want to do. So
yeah, no, exactly, yeah, because obviously you're going to get companies of different sizes who can only afford certain amounts of money towards sponsorship. So yeah, no, that's really good. It's really good from the club, that as well.
Also, with the different packages idea, some people are a little bit reticent about starting off, so they can start off small, and if they then if they want to add more, they can.
You know what?
Yeah.
I just think it's a good idea. I think every time I go to Oxford United, when there's a substitution, it gets put over the tunnel, and today's substitution is sponsored by Fred Smith. Even the field of play is number 8, so and so. Go and enter in the field of play is so and so. Thank you, Fred Smith, for sponsoring today's substitution. So if you make 6 of them, that's 6 times that goes over the tunnel, and everyone's, "Who the hell's Fred Smith?" And people Google it and stuff like that, and you put it in the programme or put it on the team sheet. And today's sponsors are, and you don't have to charge a lot of money for that. You could charge £100, right? Say £100, and they get a programme each with their company name in it, team sheet with it all, and if they want their picture taken with a player or something, they do that, and that's £100, and it's
1,000
enjoyable.
people here and there.
Yeah, exactly. And then even you get a match ball sponsor. You don't have to get a match sponsor; it could be a match ball sponsor, £60 or something like that. They sponsor the ball and the match ball, so we give them a signed football for it. And then the same again, they get mentioned in the programme. Because I feel it's important to give them something if they're sponsoring us. It's no good just taking their money and saying thank you.
No, exactly, yeah.
They can take the match ball, they can take the photograph of them with the players and everything, and holding the programme.
Yeah,
they can have that frame. They can put that in their office. They can put the football. They can get it in a glass thing and put it in their office and say, "Yeah, we sponsored Farnborough's match ball," and there's the ball there, so they can show that off as well.
That's it. You're offering them an experience as well as obviously taking their money, but you're offering them an experience at the club to be involved.
Yeah, it's memories, but then they actually get to take something away from them as well, which is as you said, if there's 4 people and they put £25 each, you can't give them all a ball each. But one thing you can do is give them a signed football. They can all have their photo taken holding the signed football with the players or the manager or something. So they can all have that put in there. We can put a little header in there saying, "Thank you very much," and name them, and then get it framed, send it to the individuals. To frame a picture now costs you £6, £7, something like that. You know,
Yeah.
and you can do all that, and then send it to the individuals, so they've got a memory of when they was actually there. You know, and it's this is the sort of things we're working on. We are working on it. We got Connor, who's well, he's not new commercial manager. He's been there for a couple of years. He's trying his hardest. He's getting we had Skoda in, I think it was, for all the shop.
I've known Connor for a long time. He's very good at what he does.
Yeah, I think so. I always give him a bit of a hard time because, but it's only to G him up because he's got the best interest of the club at heart. And when you've got people like that around, it can only be good. It really can be good. So,
well, things as we all know, things off the pitch, commercial things like this all drive the club forward on the pitch. So you know, it's an effort off and on the pitch as well. We like to on this show. We like to highlight these sort of areas, and what a lot of fans don't understand what goes on off the pitch. They just see the 11 players running around on a Saturday afternoon, you know, and but they don't understand what goes into it. Sometimes so it's good to get an insight in what goes on, you know.
Well, I think you three would agree. I mean, I never make it a secret. I always say to people, if you've got questions, ask them. You know, I walk around the ground on a match day. People can come, our supporters can come and ask me stuff. They can ask me stuff, and 99.9% of the time I can give them answers. You know, one thing I won't do is if I don't know the answer, I won't give it to them. Because that's going to make me look stupid, and I certainly wouldn't give them. I wouldn't lie to them. So sometimes I'm about to say, look, to be fair, can I get the answer for that, and I'll come back to you. Because as I said, as chairman, you don't know every aspect. Because sometimes they might sign a player at 5 o'clock on a Friday night. Now, when I used to be at work or I was doing something, I'd come in. The first thing I used to see was when I turned up on a Saturday morning, there's a player having his photo taken. And I was thinking, who's that? You know, you know, I think, who's this? And then we signed him last night. And it's like, right, okay. So that is genuinely true. But it's not a bad thing. It really isn't a bad thing because at the end of the day, as chairman and directors, we support, and the owner, Rob, we support the manager Spencer 100%. So I think people can see that this year, if you give him a little bit of an opportunity, i.e., more money, a little bit more, then he can assemble a good side. Now, I don't know. For the supporters that are looking, they're probably going to disagree, and you're probably going to have your people out there that are saying that's not true. But we're something like this. We got the 7th lowest budget in the league, and yet we finished 8th in the league. And the ones that are pretty obvious that stand out, unfortunately for them, and I wish them all the best, is your H&W that got relegated. Dartford got relegated. Dover got relegated. You know, and Taunton got relegated, and they all have bigger budgets than us. So there's going to be people that are saying, "Oh no, we pay stupid money. They're on X amount." When we do loans, we do loans at expenses only. So if someone's earning £700 at a club, we might say to them, "Well, look, we're giving £250 or something like that," because they're already being paid by the club because they're under contract. So that means that comes off of the. Say, for instance, it's I just said Chelsea, and that means the £250 we pay for them comes off the Chelsea wage bill. So literally, that's what we do with the loans. It keeps the costs and it keeps the squad down. And you know, I've harped on before as well. Now, some of the bigger budgets that some of these clubs have got is purely simply because they pay the manager quite a bit of money. You know, the manager at this level is could be anywhere between 25,000 and 55,000 a season. You know, then we don't do that because Spencer don't take a penny. He hasn't done for 13 years. That means you think how many 13 do it at the lowest price? That's 13 times £22,500 that he hasn't taken. That's quite a bit of money.
So that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and if anything, he's actually put more than that into the club. So that's why people have got to remember that Spencer is, he definitely passionate about this thing, and it's right. There is thing that people don't know. People seem to think they know. You know, I get questioned all the time by some of us, even our supporters, saying, I heard we're going in for so and so and all this. What makes you hear that? Then who told you that? Well, that's what I've heard. Well, who told you that though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and then
they can't.
the old rumour mill is even worse these days than it used to be. I think it's
Oh, massively, mate! I got
terrible,
told
isn't
by another club we were signing Haddy and Jeffers from St
In
Albans.
Albans.
yeah.
Yeah, and I went, are we? I went, yeah. I said, we can't afford them. I went,
Oh,
I
no.
said, Haddy's on just under £1,000 and Jeffers is on over £1,000. I said,
Yeah.
that's nearly a quarter of our budget. I
Yeah.
said, so,
Yeah.
And he's retained at Aldershot now anyway, hasn't he? So
yeah, exactly. So that sort of killed
you know.
that thing.
This
But
is
yeah,
this is where some of the supporters of any club, but especially our club, but where they don't really understand what goes on behind the scenes and what goes on with the club and how you operate. A case in point is Paddy and Aaron Cool when they were both recalled by both their clubs.
yeah,
That's how the loan system works. And there was,
yeah.
especially with Paddy, there was a massive uproar because this is where we're going back on the point of earlier where we were saying about the rivalry between Aldershot and Farnborough. That rivalry really is only between the fans. It's not between the clubs.
No.
And so when Haddy went back, there was massive uproar. But the people don't understand that part of the deal.
We've Haddy as well. This situation, just so that our supporters will understand this. Aldershot, they recorded him on the Saturday, but they didn't have a game on a Tuesday. So they said they were allowed him to play for us.
Yeah.
Even though the loan was up, they allowed him to play for us an extra game, and Terry Bowen come to watch him. And you know what you do with the we had Aaron Kill for the season, but there was a recall clause put in it by the club, Mark White. And yeah, once I put it through, we left over, and then we listened to Mark White's interview. I picked the phone up as phone Spencer said, "You're going to lose Aaron." I said, "Listen to Mark White's interview." So we knew before we'd even got home that we were going to lose Aaron. And then you think, oh, God. But then we got don't forget Aldershot. They give us Maxwell Mullins.
Yeah.
We didn't really see a lot of him, but Western Superman.
He was unreal.
He came straight in. He was brilliant for us.
He's a very good player. He's a very good player.
Yeah, and I spoke to Hayden Mullins. His dad always come to watch him when he's not at Fulham, and he said, "You've got a good club here, haven't you?" Even he could tell that it was a good setup, and Maxwell enjoyed it and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, they took Haddy back, but we got Maxwell. Aaron Kuehl went. We still had Taylor Clark to come in as well, which hadn't done a bad job, to be fair.
He
Ollie
stepped up really well.
Yeah, Ollie Pemberby we had in there as well, so Ricky could come in and tuck in. So we had other options. Don't get me wrong, everybody's going to miss a player like Aaron. But
absolutely,
yeah. But we was on a good roll. We was on good form. So we lost them two players, but we didn't fall apart. Wheels didn't come off. We still continue to put performances in, and I think maybe it surprised the supporters because, as I said, one supporter put on X, it's not Twitter anymore, is it X? When we lost to Taunton, one supporter went, "Oh, thanks very much. That's ruined my next weekend." My name was "Thanks very much, Farmer." Right? We were just as destroyed as what he was when we lost to Taunton. Trust me.
Yeah.
Then had to go and lose.
I did delete that tweet though, Si, to be fair.
Yeah. but yeah. What do you call it? And literally, it's all right. I've just got an exclusive there by the looks of it. Somebody, a manager's just been gone. I don't know if there's anything on X, is there? About a manager in our league just been released.
No, my phone's recording this.
Spill the beans, Si. What have you heard?
Well, I've just heard it's just come up by a reliable source that Hampton and Richmond are changing their manager.
Oh, blimey.
Really?
They're getting rid of Mel Gwinnett.
Yeah, that's what just come up on the top of my screen. So forgive me if I'm wrong, Hampton and Richmond, because of is it? There you go.
Yeah.
So, but then they've got a 5-year plan. I speak to them. I speak to the brothers, Stefan and Raf, quite a bit. They did want to try and get up this year. They want to spend. They got some big American investors coming in and stuff, and literally, they lost in the playoffs. It's the last month really that sort of killed them. A bit like we did last year.
Yeah.
We were getting pretty, and then we fell apart.
Yeah. Well, we ended up finishing above them in the end, didn't we? I think they ended up 9th or 10th.
Yeah. I mean, they're my local club, and I've got not that I've got to say this, but I always want my local teams to do well.
Mhm.
So apart from one, I don't mind. I won't name the club, but they play the other side of the water in Wharton. But yeah, I just for personal reasons they've gone about they don't conduct themselves in a professional manner. So which to me is it's disrespect for football people. So just some of the things, some of the stories you've heard, and that, and same again. It's not hearsay because I've been told by loads of sources. It's they're rude to people. Not blatantly rude, but it's their behaviour. When you go into a boardroom at a club at this level of the league below, you should have somebody in there welcoming you, sitting you down, chatting to you. That's what hospitality is to me. It's not the fixtures and fittings. But they basically leave the boardroom unlocked and told if you want to go out yourself a cup of tea. And at half time, the boardroom's locked and there's no food.
Yeah.
Even though protocol legislates that you should provide food for the visiting teams and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a bit poor. A bit poor. So, so you reckon we might get Mason Bloomfield back now then, so what do you reckon?
Well,
he was his specialised signing, the manager, because he had him at Barnet.
Yeah, pretty
Bromley,
much. When I was there at Christmas, and I said this in front of the owners as well, because obviously don't want to be accused of tapping up people. I did actually, funny enough, a few weeks ago, I offered to present their man of the match award for them because they were struggling to get someone to do it. And Jack's their chairman. I said, Jack's, I'll do it for you, mate, if you want. Yeah, you bloody would as well, wouldn't you? I said, of course I would. And that's it. But then I said to Mason Bloomfield, because same again, as I said today, I spoke to Sid Nelson today, Jack Ball, and Harvey Bradbury. Wish them all the best in the playoffs. It doesn't mean because I'm wishing them all the best that I'm trying to tap them up for their club to come back. Right? And when I speak to Mason Bloomfield, I just said to him, you know what? How's the baby? And oh yeah, really good now, really good. I live in Kew and all that. So not too far away. Yeah, it's really nice. You know what? Your baby looked good in that wake it. I said it in front of the owners and that like that, and he said he really enjoyed his time down there. So, but that's that's what we are as a club. I'm going to use the word we because you're very much part of this. Everyone's part of it. We're all part of a team. So we as a club, we treat people with respect. And I said to one player who we made an offer for, who was a crowd favourite, who we're trying to get back. I won't mention his name, but he plays defence, and literally we offered him, which we consider a very good deal, and the response was, "It's not enough. Thank you very much," which is very disappointing because I'd had a speech with him about it's not just about money; it's about clubs and supporters. You could earn £100 more, but you're going to have to travel to training 2 times a week, miles away. And we get the love and embrace from your new club by the supporters and the people in the club as you do when you're at Farnborough. I said, I don't think you will, mate. I said, I'm not going to belittle any club. I'll never do that. But I know how good our supporters are and how loving they are. When you're one of the favourites, it's fantastic. But this individual has disappointed me because he's opted to get more money. So listen, it is what it is, but you're going to get supporters out there saying, why didn't we go for him? Why didn't we go for him? The chances are we did go for them, just on that front, as I said, I'm winning. There's going to be questions there. Why, all the players that are sort of potentially going and coming and stuff like that. But I'd answer any question on any of them because
how are things looking for next season? So I know we had a chat off air beforehand, but just let sports zone briefly if you can.
I mean, we already know that Joe Hager's is signed for next season anyway. We knew that anyway, but without naming names, but what can you say?
Let me just see if I can get up on this one because it's on my phone, but we're using my phone at the moment. The iPad didn't load. Let's just see if I put it on there.
Just go back on your point. Oh, sorry,
yeah, go on.
I was going to say, I think your point about creating an environment that players will love and treasure their time at the club. I think you could really see that of CJ's testimonial of how many people came back with smiles on their faces and were just clearly happy to be there.
Yeah, no, you're right, Tom. You are right, and they all loved it, and they stayed. You know, some of them stayed for the evening as well. You know, Jack Ball played in his last game for Salisbury, and then he turned up for the players.
Yeah, Harvey
Harvey Bradbury as
coming
well.
on as
Harvey
well.
Bradbury
Yeah,
was there.
yeah, really
So
good.
you
Good
just,
to see him.
I think it's just the club itself, the club as a whole, is from where, as I said, from where it used to be to where it is now. It's come on so much, and you know, I keep me and Rob we'll have little banter, little jokes and that, and I always say to him that it was basically it's like a phoenix, really. You know, it's died, it's become a pile of ashes, and then with nurture and guidance, it's now becoming a phoenix again. You know, it's starting to grow again. It's not the end product by far, but from where it was pre-COVID to where it is now, I think you're all proud of being part of Farnborough, aren't you?
Completely.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
Tom, I know you're vocal with the supporters and that, and you're always with the supporters. From where we've moved on, from when the season before we beat Hayes,
Yeah.
you know, how far we come since then?
Astronomically, I
Absolutely,
think.
yeah. No, we've seen the last few years with the promotions and that, and the FA Cup run that we had last year, and we've seen all the crowds grow year on year on year on year. Whereas in previous seasons, when we were in the lower divisions, when you get to around sort of the winter period where you weren't getting many people through the gate, that affects budget wise, and that means that, and we were seeing players move on around that time, and well, I don't want to say lesser players, cheaper players coming in,
Yeah.
but we don't see that yet. We haven't seen that in the last couple of years because of the way the trajectory that we've been going up in.
No, totally, you're totally right, because it's a catch-22 situation, and it's the same with me at Oxford United. Now, I drive 55 miles to go and watch Oxford play, and I go 25 miles for Farnborough. So I do a little bit of distance, but and when we lose or the players are not good and everything, I've got to drive 25 miles home with the ump, and I've got to drive 55 miles through the ump with Oxford. And then the first thing we do is, as directors, we all talk about it the following day, and you know what we think got wrong. We've all got our opinions and stuff, and but the one thing that I've said, and you know, Rob's agreed with me, and to be fair, the directors have. We support our manager 110%. You know, there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. If he was that good and we won every single game, we wouldn't be managing at Farnborough. But it's about when the bad days. And this season, we lost to Taunton, and everyone's destroyed. Because I thought it was going to be Taunton, and then go into the last game thinking we get a draw, we're fine. But we didn't. So it's like, okay, but then when you reflect over the season, and I had so many comments and statements from our supporters saying, you know what, even if we don't win at Weymouth, what a great season it's been, to take it to the last game of the season.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing for me. Having a day, it was almost like a day of celebration of just the season itself.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, and that's credit to our supporters as well, because it's, you know, to see them all turning up in fancy dress and everything. And Weymouth chairman phoned me up afterwards, Paul, and said to me, please thank your supporters. They were absolutely first class. We had about 250.
How many was there? How many of us were there?
There was
There must be about 300 of us there.
Yeah, about 300. Yeah, he said between 250 and 300. And but everyone was in feel-good mood and like a holiday mood. And he said there was no trouble, you know, the light-hearted
It was a beautiful day as well.
Yeah, and I think even if we won, but we won and we lost because we didn't get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But even still, our supporters were like, you know, they were so happy, you know, we won, which is great. And they were thanking me for a great season and stuff like this. And I said, well, it's all of us. It's all of us. It's not me. It's all of us. You know, the boys have done well. They were all gutted as well regarding
I bet they were. Yeah.
getting it. But then that's when we all said, okay, that's it. So, and regarding to players that you mentioned there, I can honestly say that you can go on record with this. Is we offered every single one of our squad players a deal after Weymouth, and said, look, you know, we want you to stay. You know, so what you do is you put the deal out there, and obviously the players, like they do in life, they will go off and try and get more money and then come back to you. They don't automatically come back. Saying that, I'll just look at the list. I think we've got. Let me just try and do this. 2, 3. I think we've got 7 or 8 definites from last year. Same in the squad. In the first team squad we had last year, 7 or 8 of them are still here. A couple of them are away. One of them's thinking. One of them wants more money. And 2, and one of them wants step ones. So at this precise moment in time, now we can't. They're entitled to for what they want. But as a club, so that what gives us the basis of the team. So I know for a fact that Spencer's working hard. Talking to players and agents and so on, and I get so many circulars turning around, saying that I got offered 5 players from Birmingham yesterday, and normally Charlton, I think the other day, give me 7 players, and that are up available and stuff. So there's loads of it going around at the moment. But with the fact that the EFL sides haven't finished yet, and the National League haven't finished yet, it's only
hard to do business, isn't it?
Massively. You can potentially line something up. We've potentially lined something up which we think, if it comes off, would be brilliant. We've spoke to a player. He told us what he wanted and we matched it. And he said we'll know very shortly whether he's going to come to us or not. If we do this business, then I'm pretty sure we'll announce it ASAP. If he doesn't,
any idea of telling us what position that might be in there? Si, was that giving too much away?
No, too much away.
Ooh,
no, too much away. No.
Right, so cut the interview, get him off. He's not good for anybody.
Yeah, but yeah, no. And the thing is, as well, we've done well, and the crowds are growing. But as you said, we got to cut our cloth to suit, because we don't want to start paying more out on the wages and the budget, and then all of a sudden our attendance is dropped from like around 1,000 back down to 600 again. Because if you find them players, then it's simple maths. Right, we do this simple maths test. Say, for instance, the average budget. I mean, take Yeovil out of the equation, because their budget was £38,000 a week. Right, Torquay is something like 22,000. All of that. That's what a lot of these clubs are paying out.
Yeah.
They're paying out stupid amounts.
With that, though, they're all losing money. I never fist, aren't they? That's the trouble.
Well, this is
the massive black holes. It's something we talk about, or we try and get involved in talking about quite a lot on this podcast. Is that the finances of football just ridiculous?
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Let's put it this way. I know players that are in League One that earn £880, and they're playing full time in League One.
Yeah.
And you got people in our league asking for £1,200.
Yeah.
And they're part time, and I'm thinking, well,
it's unrealistic, isn't it? Some of these players need to get real, don't they? We all know, Si, that as a chairman, you'll know probably better than I do, that there's nobody in any of the leagues in any level of football in England at the minute, bar in the Premier League, that are making any money. They're all losing money.
No, exactly. We got this thing about the FA Cup, and every club's vented their anger about the decision of stopping the replays and things like that, and which is a lot of clubs rely on that money, and we've had to do it, and we've had to, as a chairman, I've had to represent Farnborough and say that we literally what to call it? So I've got loads of scousers that are messaging the government, and literally what we've had to do is I've represented Farnborough and said that I disagree with the decision. I don't think all it means is that all the prize money are going to stay in the Premiership and the Championship, and some of it will filter down to the EFL, which means there's going to be very little coming through into the non-league. Now, they've assured that they sort of come out of it because they had to backtrack. They issued another statement probably within 48 hours of the initial one coming out, actually trying to sort of change it a little bit, and they reassured us that there's going to be more money being passed down into the lower leagues. Now, it's easy to say it, but when was the last time a lower league club actually went on social media and thanked the Premiership for giving us £50,000 or something like that? It just doesn't happen, and it doesn't help clubs, because a lot of clubs, there's only one way they're going to go at the moment. and it is going to be down. I mean, I had a conversation with someone today, and I said, right, when we beat Hayes in the Edding in the playoff 2 weeks ago, actually, the memory came
2
up on
years ago, yeah.
2 years ago, yeah. Now, that came up. And I said, right, think about that season when we won the playoff final. Right, Taunton went up into the National League, but they've just been relegated. Hayes, who we beat in the final, have just been relegated again.
Yep.
Met Police got relegated last year. So you're thinking, well,
Met Police took voluntary relegation, didn't they, last year?
Because they just they just won't get, they don't get the attendance stuff. So what you'll find now is, and this is what I really do hope and believe, is at the moment with the playoffs, the attendances are going to go through the roof, but I think non-league attendances are going to start going up because people are just not going to go to the Premiership. Even maybe potentially Championship side, because ticket pricing is expensive for one, and I'd claim again. We worked it out. I think I was speaking to Kevin Dyer, and he was talking about it. Right, if we went to the FA Cup final and we got tickets for £70 to Kevin, if you get the train fare there and back, which would be about 30, that's £100. That's without any food or drink or anything, which is, say £25 on average for London prices. So that's £125 for one person to go. So if he's taking his kids, it doubles, right? So £125. Now, what I do is like today, I book a flight. If I can get tickets, I'll get a ticket for Juventus at Turin, and next time I go, I'm going to put it on social media. I basically get a ticket, £68 return. Then flight ticket, £68 return. Match tickets can go anywhere to €40 up to €60, or if you want to go more than that, depends which seat you want. But if I go €40, that's £108. So that pretty much is the same price as Kevin getting from Blackwater to Wembley. I'm actually flying to Italy. Then you don't have to spend 25 quid on food over there because it's not that expensive as Wembley. And I can do that. So I can get a day out over in Turin, watch Juventus play, fly back for pretty much £5 or £10 more than going to Wembley and back. Yeah. And they're pricing out of the water. They're pricing out of the water. So
it's crazy.
People are not going to go.
Going back to the FA Cup debate, I don't correct me if I'm wrong for getting any of my facts wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but also the issue I have with the lack of replays or stopping the replays from the first round is if any non-league club gets drawn against, say, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal's of the world, they're gonna in order to get the fight to make sure they get the finances in, they aren't going to take a chance and have the game at their own place. They're going to reverse the fixture and have the game at the bigger club, aren't they? And probably the police will turn around and say, do you know what, police safety, etc., etc. They're going to say the game's going to have to be played there, etc., and get it reversed because they can't take the chance of not having the replay or not maybe winning that tie. They're going to make sure they get the finances. It's going to ruin the magic of the cup a little bit, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, well, it's either that or what they do is they look for the nearest club, i.e., if it's us, they might turn around and say to Reading or Southampton, can we play the game there?
Yeah.
Which means both teams are playing at a neutral. Which still means
maximise the revenues. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what they're going to do.
It's going to ruin the magic of it, isn't it? Because you're not going to have people like players like Marcus Rashford or Mason Mount or any other Man United rejects I'm trying to think of that are going to play on a pitch that's got bubbles all over it and hardly any grass, or mud or things like that. All the magic of the cup that you see from replays, from 20, 30 years ago that are like magical memories, days for people, and John Watson commentating, and
you look at Horsham versus Barnsley this year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How magical is that? And
exactly.
It's just taken away.
This is the other point. The other point of it as well. I know obviously it's the Premier League and the FA that have devised this plan, but the Premier League clubs don't come into the FA Cup until the third round anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So why are they stopping the replays from round one?
Ban the replays from round 3 or round 4. I think would be better.
Aren't replays already stopped from round 5 anyway? So they're only stopping them for one round.
Yeah.
Well, extra rounds. What's the point? It makes no sense whatsoever.
No, I just think there's a hidden agenda when it comes to football. with
Yeah,
the Super
yeah,
League, the
it's the
breakaway
rich
league
looking
and
after
stuff.
themselves, basically.
Yeah.
I don't think they realise the reason the Premiership and the levels they go. There's so much strength, and it's the same reason the English pyramid is by far the greatest in the world, is because how much strength there is in the non-league system, and how much it filters down. You get so many clubs at our level, the Division 6, thousands of people every week, home and away, commit themselves. Like the Farnborough fans listening to this, that gives the strength to the division.
All
So
10 of
if
them.
the if the Premiership then go and take away from that, they're only going to eventually damage themselves and the system that they benefit off of.
Yeah. And in fact, if you look at it, if you look there, it's only really the teams that are in European competition that want this, because that's basically 6 or 7 teams.
Because they think they're playing too many games.
Yeah, but because they're going to have to
their
play 2 or
athletes
3.
paid £500,000 a week, and they can't play. They can't go away to Dagenham and Redbridge.
Well,
also, at the end of the day,
they're adding. Sorry, they're adding 2 extra games in the Champions League for the Champions League teams. This is where this has all come around. Then now suddenly it's too many matches. Well, you get a team. You get teams in the Championship play 46 league games a season, whereas the Premier League only play 38. So they're already eight games.
Along with Carabao Cup
already. Exactly. Extra rounds.
Also as well, these Premier League clubs, so if they don't want the replays, then they've got, when they're playing these smaller teams, they've got to field a stronger side and make sure the replay doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you look at Liverpool, they went to the Club World Cup, I think it was, literally, and then they fielded a load of youngsters in the FA Cup. So it did these competitions straight away because the kids and that, and it's you go and watch Reading. I think Reading played Bracknell, didn't they? And was it Reading?
It was Cambridge, wasn't it?
I think so. And they put the kids out. They put all the youngsters out on it, and it's sort of like it can backfire for one. But obviously, it means if you're a Reading supporter and you want to go and watch whoever, or even United supporter, and you think, oh, this would be my one chance to come in local, I'm going to go and get to watch them match play. And I think you turn up there, you pay your money to get there, find out that all the players you turned up to watch sit on the bench or the stand, not even there.
It's poor, isn't it?
And then it is poor. It is poor. And we all say the same thing. So for all of us to be talking about it, they know they're the governing body of football, and literally what they've got to do is start listening to supporters of every level. Really,
I get dead right. Yeah,
I think they're out of touch. They're out of touch, basically.
Well, it's a monopoly. It's a monopoly. It's 7 or 8 teams are monopolising every other team in the whole country over it. That's all it is. It's almost like communism almost. So we don't want it, so it's not happening. You know what I mean? It's not acceptable. And I think, and I agree
by fans and built by supporter bases that is being taken away from.
Well, I have to say, I do agree with something that Spencer mentioned. I know Spencer put out a statement after the day after the announcement, and he said, it's time clubs got together, and if clubs have to boycott the FA Cup, then they will. And I agree with him. I think it's the only way. You got to stand up for yourself and stand up for what you believe in and what's clearly justice. And
I totally agree with what Ben said, but I just can't see everyone boycotting it because you've got teams in lower and step 5s and 6s or whatever the large ones down to get it. That's their biggest game, isn't it? That's their biggest game. And if you're asking them to give up that revenue, it might only be £2,000, but it's a lot of money because there's no way that the Premier League are going to get the money down to them. And then if you boycott the FA Cup, then do you set a precedent and say, well, we're not really going to support anything you say no more, and you're going to break away, then the Premiership could simply turn around and say that, okay, we're not going to filter any of the money down to you. So you've got to be careful in what you do. I mean, there's rights and wrongs. And I personally think at the moment that the governing body of football are getting more wrongs than they are rights, and they're not listening to people. And in retrospect, a lot of them. And I've got to choose my words right in case this gets shown. But let's just say they're they're like wine. Yeah, they're like wine. They're meant to get better with age, but some of them don't. Yeah. And I just think that some of them are probably past their sell-by dates.
They're more like milk.
Yeah, that's it. They're starting to curdle, and where they need to get some younger people involved. And I can speak from first hand because and there's no disrespect to the Southern League board because they're all good people, and when I got voted on and I went to my first board meeting, I went there and I felt like the new kid in the class really, and I looked at it and thought they're all 70-year-old in there. You know, and I'm the young fresh face, putting my hand up, asking every question, and I said to it, I said, look, I know there's a rule book there. There is a rule book there. I said, but can we not implement a new rule? And he said, what's that? I said, where as boards, the board of the member clubs, can we not instigate common sense to overrule any of the rules in this book? Because what's the point of adding financial pressure onto a club, fining them, if they're already financially in trouble? You've only added to the pressure. And and then they tell me, so yeah, but rule 1.468 says this is what you have to do. And you're like, yeah, but can we not just skip a page and just not do that? And, you know, there was a team that basically didn't want to play, didn't turn up, didn't advertise the game all week on social media. On the morning of the game, then phoned up and said that they're not turning up. So the home team prepared all the food and they checked all the social media. There was no intention that this team was ever going to play the game. And we basically said, well, they've got to be fined, and surely can we take points off them as well? I think award the points for that, but deduct them 3 points for unfulfilling fixture as well. And then one fellow said, well, we can't do that. No. And then actually the league secretary went, actually, no, we can do it. And then the next point was, yeah, but we don't want to start doing that because it'd be a mockery of the league, blah, blah, blah. And I think, no, do it once as a deterrent. Just do it once as a deterrent, so everyone knows if they're not planning on doing it, they call things off. That they're going to not only award the points to the other team, but they will lose 3 points. So that could be the difference about getting relegated or promoted.
Yeah.
So if they're pulling the fast one over the league, then the club like that needs to be addressed. And the rule book states that they can't do that. So it's just it's my biggest bugbear is the fact that the gap between the board and the directors and the leagues to the supporters is just getting bigger. And when I went on the board, Southern League, the whole idea was to try and make it smaller. I spoke to all the clubs. I went around to all the clubs and I speak to all the players and supporters. I've spoken to supporters at other clubs, and they turned around to me and said, you know what, we spoke to more than you this season, and we have our own chairman. Because he doesn't say anything. So, but let's not digress. I'm sure you've got hundreds of questions you want to ask me.
I had something.
Go on, Tom.
I was just it's a bit of a random one, but I was just wondering to do with the players we have sort of out on dual reg and on loan, sort of where do we know, like the likes of Adam Pace and Kanye Yobson, are they going to be staying with us or going back out on loan next year?
Yeah, well, it'd be down to the manager. I would imagine that they'll be invited back into pre-season, like everyone does. They take everyone back in pre-season, have a look at and see, because within a season, a player can develop a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
So what we do is we do players that are out on loan and dual registered. Is we do look at them when they're out there. We have people go and watch games, and obviously you get video footage and stuff like that. So just because they're outside doesn't mean they're out of mind. So I would think that you know, if knowing Spencer the way he does, he'll invite them all back in. Look at Roland Silva. Who thought we'd get Roland Silva back?
Yeah.
The reason for him coming back was because it's no good us calling a player back if we had no intention of playing him. The only unfortunate thing for Roland is we had a really good centre mid, which is when he come back, they were all performing, and we couldn't change it. Otherwise, Roland could have gone back in there. But you know, it's tough on them sometimes. But you imagine if he's sat the whole season on the bench and not got on. It's just not fair on the individuals. So but to answer your question, Tom, I should imagine they'll be called back in to be looked at in pre-season, and then they'll either agree, because some of the players might not want to come back. They might say, look, I'm actually playing at this club now. Can I stay here? So some of the reasons, it's not us getting rid of them. Sometimes the players are asked to leave as well. So and then that's why it's all done by mutual consent. You know, so it's not, you don't want to say the player wants to leave because you don't want supporters turning on him, and you don't want the club getting blamed for getting rid of him if it's actually down to the player. So you have to say mutual consent, really, to keep everyone happy. Next one. These are quite light ones, actually. Well,
we got Mike. Who did we have on last? Who did we interview last?
Craig.
Craig.
We've got, I've got a
question.
question. I've got I've got
Oh,
a
yeah.
question from a fan. His name's Jack, and he said, have you got any plans to make any kind of changes for this in the stadium during the summer?
We in what way does he mean? New bits or?
Yeah, improvements. I reckon. I think he's sort of
Yeah,
getting that.
What we've done for the last month was, I don't know if you saw them, they were handing out little bits of paper with codes on them.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
QR
fan,
code.
fan consultation. Yeah, it's
It's
good.
the match day experience.
That's it. So we had hundreds of them ready and printed up, and we got about 40 of them back. And pretty much the number one comment on it was queuing for food and drinks. That was pretty much the number one, queuing for stuff. So we are looking to see whether we can set something up where you might be able to order your food. So before half time comes, you go there and say your order numbers, whatever, you got a code, we scan your code, and you go to the side of the burger thing, and your drinks are there and your food get brought out after, to try and speed things up. So we are definitely looking to improve everything. We want to make the match day experience more enjoyable for the supporters. When you said, it sort of threw me a little bit then, because we're looking at certain things. I don't think it's not a secret. We're looking to potentially extend the Platinum Lounge outwards. We are looking to develop underneath the PRE stand as well. Put maybe some units in there and some maybe because it's nothing's definite yet, but we've been looking at it for ages. But with Alan coming in now, that's one of his projects where he wants to try and get that developed. So whether that means we put another bar area in there as well for people and food outlet sort of thing, then we might. I don't know. Have any of you been to Maidstone?
No, I didn't make it this year.
Get down there now, unfortunately.
Okay, they got a stand similar to ours, and what you do is when you walk around the back of it, there's obviously a fence going down, stop people just walking into the ground. And what they've done is in that fence, they've literally put the door. You open up the door and you go into a porter cabin, which is the toilets. So you'll have more toilets there as well. And all they've done is halfway along the bar, the stand, they put a bar in there where they serve soft drinks and put some barrels there. But it defeats the object a little bit because the rest of the stand isn't being used. So we looked at that and thought that's a good idea. But potentially we want to do more than just a bar. We want to look at it and potentially maybe see if we can put a little, Boots the Chemist in there or something like that, where the local community, because around that estate, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've either got to go to the BP petrol station, or you have to go all the way down to Cove, I think it is, to the shops and that.
Yeah.
Or Farnborough Gate.
A Farnborough Gate. So we're looking at all them things, and we're speaking to the council. Maybe we might be able to put a news agents in there, and maybe a Boots or something like that to help to service the community. Really, so it's something that we're looking at now.
Any chance of getting a Mackey's in there?
Yeah, we're trying, mate. We're trying. We did try. We did get sponsored by McDonald's once, didn't we?
yeah, we did. Yeah, I've got that shirt still.
Yeah. So,
I think that would suit because the car park gets used by the sixth form, because I used to go there. I think that could be really sort of convenient there as well, where the sixth it's right up the back of the PRE they all park as well.
Yeah, and we've just so you can see, with regards to, I don't know, I keep getting asked a lot of questions about these parking signs that have gone up in the car park and stuff. I don't know if anyone's spoken to you, any of you about that.
Sure.
No.
Literally, if you put into the car park now, you'll see lots of signage now with GR codes, basically where you're meant to scan them and pay and stuff like that.
Yeah, your parking app, isn't it? They've taken it. Yeah.
Yeah, but what you do, you don't pay on a match day. That hasn't changed. We don't want to charge you £2 to go in there, and then you go and pay them as well. It's nothing's really changed with regards to that. What it means, that aspect of it is they've put CCTV cameras up there's quite a lot of them around there now, and they're hidden as well, so a lot of people won't even find them. What that is to stop any boy races, anyone going in there in the evenings and stuff like that. That's what the deterrent there is for. Everyone that have asked me about the place you go, like the parking and that, don't get me wrong, if people pay it, we get a percentage of it. But the message we're trying to say is that nothing's changed. It hasn't become a pay-as-you-go car park. Everything stayed the same. You know, there's nobody. You see anyone ever get a ticket in there? No one ever gets a ticket, and you know the TV cameras are for the cars that hang about in the corner, you know, and the boy racers that come round and stuff like that. So it's all video footage with their registrations on and stuff. So that's what it's all geared up for, to try and work with the community and cut them out. I think the gates are supposed to get locked at a certain time now. So that's what's happened there. But it's the big thing is it's community. We're trying to work with the community. We're trying to improve it. We're looking at stuff, but you know, you've got the allotments down the far side. At the other end of the PR stand to where we've got the fan zone. You know, potentially once them sides go up in the summer, that frees up that corner section altogether. Because that's where all the sides are. We've got them all. We just need to cherry pick now to put the top bits up, which is to be done in good weather, not when it's peeing over rain. That frees it up. Potentially, we might be able to get, say, a couple of porta cabins in there, which could be control rooms. So with the windows looking out on the pit, so they can see the whole ground. You know, things like that. There's lots of stuff, but the most important thing is we've got lots of stuff. But previously, people would have started doing all this work, started getting all this stuff in and everything, and not paid for it, which is something we can't do. So literally, we've got loads of ideas, we've got loads of plans, but we've got to still live within our means. So, which is something that we're very big to do. But you know, I said, you know, it's not a speech as such, but you know, this is what helps with our supporters at the moment. Now we're doing an early bird season ticket deal. I'm pretty sure you've all seen it online. Now I've got a message here from the club. It said we've had an unprecedented interest in season tickets this year. What was a successful season coupled with a great price. I'll just cover that up. Great price and some fantastic added benefits. It was probably in the whatever it is, I can't even say it now. Right. Good early season ticket revenues gives us a greater confidence in committing to a competitive squad for the up and coming season. So don't delay, take advantage on the early bird offer before we hit 100 mark. We're not far off that 100 mark. You know, as we said before, it helps us. If people buy a season ticket, that money goes into the sort of the revenue, the incoming. So that gives us a basis of how much more we've got to look to gain for the salary, for the wages. But it definitely helps and then improves the players' budget by doing things like this.
Absolutely.
So, you know, anyone that can commit to it is going to be brilliant, because it's one of them. At the same time, you understand that you as a supporter, you only really want to buy stuff in advance if you think it's going to be a good season, or potentially could be a good season. You know, some people might think, I'm not going to get a season, I'll just go every week. And then if we have a bad run in that season, then people stop coming and the revenue falls off. But our job as directors is to make sure that we budget for that, which is something we do. We never over budget. So we'll work out the budget. We do it on an estimated crowd attendance, not on a guest one. I think our average at the moment is just under 900 over the season, 800 and something. And so obviously then you take out your kids and everything. So even if you were to estimate it on 500 average of £10 a ticket, that's £5,000. That gives you a basis to work out on your player's budget. So if, for instance, we set a budget of say £8,000, that means we've got to find £3,000 a week to make the budget up. Now, if you have 2 home games, it does it itself. But if you have a month of away games, you know, that potentially means we got to find 32,000 32,000 in that month, and we don't get no revenue. So which is what happened to Taunton. with all their
Yes.
5 games. So that's why we got to keep it realistic. You know, so but it definitely helps, and you know, all the directors. That message came from the board of directors, which means that you know we want to send a message out there that we are really grateful that they're taking up the bird ticket offer because it benefits them. We kept the price down. I don't know if you've seen it. You know, we haven't put the price up. You know, £15 as well. I think for the match days. You know,
it's a pretty good discount as well. If you consider it, if you work out the price per match on based on that, it's something like £10.15, isn't it, per game if you do it early doors.
I think one of the benefits is you get in the pre-season as well, don't you?
Yeah, pre-season games included. Yeah, fantastic.
So which is all going to be good. And
but this is why we've always said it on the podcast about pushing to get fans to games, regardless of how well the team is performing, because even if we're not doing very well and we're still getting 900,000 through the game, that still gives us the club the budget to go and get the players that we need to improve the team. If we drop down to the 400-500 mark, then that money's not there.
Yeah. And then one thing we've always said,
players can't come.
Yeah, what we've said is we won't. There's no loans or anything secured on the club. We won't put the club into any credit. You know, the only money that's owed is to Rob, and he's taking dividends. You know, he has to put, if there's a shortfall in the wages, he'll put that in. He'll do it as you know, he doesn't take the cash back. He's not looking to recall anything of his. When we sell, because there will be a when, not if, because obviously no one stays at a club for life. But if he comes round to selling the club, then any money owed will be obviously he'll be able to keep off the purchase of the club, you know, because the other directors will get their shares. So the club's in a very good position at the moment. You know, it's just simple things like there's a club. The chairman, I don't know if you've seen Hungerford. Have you seen what's happening at Hungerford?
Struggling, aren't they?
Patrick and that. Basically, they went to Gloucester, didn't realise how much debt Gloucester was in. Then asked for their money back from Hungerford and said it was a loan to Hungerford, but Hungerford said they thought it was a donation. So the supporters trust voted and not to give the money back, and then obviously that means there's going to be a legal case there. It is frightening. It is frightening. I spoke to Hayes and Yedding chairman today, Tony, and I said, "Look, I'm really gutted you've gone down and that," but he's a realist. He said, "Look, sometimes you've got to go down to build yourself back up again." He said, and you know, I said, "Well, we've done it. We did it with Step 4." Yeah, so we've done it, and literally, you just got to believe in what you're doing, get the right people in there, and I'm sure you'll be all right.
Just on Hayes and Yedding, while you mentioned it today, I know it's a great. When we went to the playoff final game there, I thought I was quite impressed with the stadium and the setup and everything. At the time, they were doing very well, weren't they? And they've really got that massive long stand going all the way down one side. Really nice. Do they own they own that stadium, or is that a council run one, or was it?
No, they own it.
They own it. That's good news then. That's good news.
Yeah, they own it. But the thing with that is, obviously everyone knows they got the Ted Lasso money. You know, which was £50,000 a year, I think, something like that. And they set up there, and all their filming was done there. They got other grants and stuff like that. And to be fair to Tony and Dev, they put a hell of a lot of their own money into it, but they only get attendances of 110, 150. You know, which doesn't, it's not going to pay for anything. And you know, so they were forever dipping into the budget. They were doing that when we were challenging for them. They were putting into, you know, Moses and Francis and people like that, Omar. They're not cheap players. You know, and they were only getting 200 attendances and that. And you think, how the hell can they afford to do it? It's because Tony and Dev were putting the money in. And it's always hard because now they've gone down the league, to be fair, Tony said that after they lost to Bracknell, Hayes and fans coming up saying, "Listen, it is what it is. We'll go down, we'll build ourselves up again. But thanks for everything you've done." They actually recognise what it is that they've done as a club, and they've been punching above their weight financially for quite a while, and which is why it's, you know, you look at it, if we would have been Taunton and we won that league, and then 2 years later you get relegated, you know, what would you be thinking of the club? You know, it's relegated. Your pitch is bad. There's trouble between in-house fighting, and the manager's been sacked. You know, so it's going to be hard work for them. So this is what it gives us peace of mind as directors, because we know, okay, we might not be the biggest paying club in the National League South, but I can honestly say that we do things the right way.
Yeah.
And as the supporters, I think you can see that now. You know, and we have to do it over a long period of time, so you can tell it's not just a short fix. But yeah, a lot of people, even Farnborough Town, before we came, short-term success they paid for. They pumped a lot of money into the playing side of it, and then got themselves quite a few zeros in debt.
Yeah.
And as a fan, you'd be absolutely devastated because yes, you can play your games against Arsenal and stuff like that, which is fantastic for the supporters. But then to be told that you're going to be going to administration and that after the next season, then you'd rather not have played that Arsenal game and just make sure the club's safe.
Yeah,
so,
it was a massive. I mean, I remember that quite vividly. 'Cause I was a reasonably avid supporter of the club at the time, and I was thinking, you know, 1 minute's a massive high playing the Arsenal match and all the kudos around that and doing really well in the league. I think they just finished just outside the playoffs as well, and they were pushing. And then suddenly, for within 12 months, they were in administration and relegated, or were looking to get relegated and losing. And then you have your -10 points for the season after that as well. It was just it was a massive fall from grace, wasn't it? It was just so quick as well. But that's what football's like. It's like
and
1 minute you're up there, next minute
is,
you're down again, aren't you?
so the thing is, the people that run the club and the people that manage the club and even the players, they're not. Where are they now? They're not part of the club anymore.
No.
They don't care. They don't care.
Mm.
You know, if it was me, I asked somebody a question. I said, "Have you got a conscience?" And the individual turned around to me and said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, the question I asked was, if I was responsible, if I was the chairman of a club, and they got into financial difficulty and they got into a lot of debt, I wouldn't stay on as chairman. I would probably come out and say that I've let everyone down." And I haven't been strong enough as a chairman, and I apologise, and because that I'll step down. I wouldn't try and sweep it under the carpet and try and blame somebody else for it,
Yeah.
because as the chairman, it's my responsibility.
Yeah. A lot of people in life do that at the minute. So as well, there's a lot of people
Yeah.
around like that. They want to blame somebody else, or it's never their fault, or they're sweeping things under the carpet. And there's a lot of that goes on in everyday life these days, as well as even worse in football, I think.
Yeah, no, massively. And these individuals, they move on to another club. They move on to another club, you know, and they borrow money or get the club into trouble, stuff like that. And it's just, I know for a fact that I've got a conscience. So literally, my biggest fear, it doesn't happen now, but I used to have nightmares, mate, when we used to try and think, oh, how are we going to pay this month when I first took over, you know, and we was forever not even telling the missus, like, I'm using my business. Think, like, okay, well, I have to get someone out of my business to pay you things and things like this. This is what we've done. We've done things the right way, and then obviously we done it. Everything was paid. The biggest thing was, imagine you take over a company, right? You take over a company, and all of a sudden you're told that you owe the water board £7,000. You're about to be cut off with electric because it's too much money. They haven't got enough money to pay it, and then all of a sudden. That's just two of the bills, and then straight away, you know, your gas, everything else is all going to be cut off because you've got no money to pay for it. You get your electric, your water, and your gas cut off. You ain't got a club, you know. And none of them wanted to go on payment plans because they were owed money before. So it's like it's a lot of hard work to be done, and you know, we as a club have gone through that time, and we're at. You know, I'd like to say we're out the other side now, and we got no. I'm not. One will probably hate me for this because I'm not going to. I always say we're sustainable. We can basically carry on now, and we can do things the right way without anyone buying money into it and stuff like that. But as a football club, you need investors, you need sponsors. You'll always need them. Because you don't know what bill's coming around the corner. You know, we submit our PAYE forms, we pay our tax, we do everything. Now, the players get pay slips as well. So, you know, so if they want to claim their tax back, they can do. Everything's above board now. I know it wasn't like that at the beginning when I first went down there. It was like You know, it just didn't seem right from the start. And you know, my advice to Spencer at the time was, "Are we sure this is the right club?" Because of what we knew was going on. And but the biggest reason we stayed was because of the supporters. Because you know, some of them don't come now. Some of them have sadly passed away. But I'll never forget my first game. See a view with their side. With Salisbury away. First game we come down there with Spencer. Can you remember that?
No, do you know what?
2011.
I wasn't around either.
I think Simon was an Aldershot fan by that point.
Yeah. Well, it was in 2011. It just lost 11 games on the spin. We come down and we had a really hard task trying to stay in the league. Right? We brought Dan Bennett, brought Pagey, brought Ollie Treacher, brought Craig Bradshaw down with us, and it was, I think, 1-1 in the second half at Salisbury, and then we put Dan Bennett on. Scored 2 goals, we won 3-1. We then go on to win our first, basically the next 5 games. We won our first 6 games of that, and then literally when we come in, I think we were told we had, it got down to the last 2 games of the season. We needed 3 points to be definite. We had Hammond and Waterlooville at home, and we had Sutton away. And we had to basically, if we got 3 points against Hammond, last game didn't count, and we managed to do it. And all the supporters came on the pitch afterwards and that, and you could see how much it meant to the supporters by not going down. So then to be relegated for financial reasons, that not only does we know it's going to affect you as supporters, but it affects everyone at the club. So what we had to do, me and Kevin Dyer, was we put our tin hats on, and basically he said, "Right, come on then, throw your worst at us. Just throw your worst at us. You know, you don't take anything personal in football. People knocking the club, we're the worst club in the league. Even the National League didn't like. Nobody liked us at all. You know, the fact that when we got Paddy Power in to sponsor us, you know, he was willing to back us to the tilt, but the conference wouldn't do it all and stuff like this. They were trying to get us confused. If we changed our names by depot, they weren't going to let us in the league. But there's nothing that says it's illegal to change your name by depot. And if you want to change the name to Pele, you can do it. They can't stop you from doing it. They can't stop you from playing. And it was all sorted. And they made it hard work for us. And so we just thought, you know what, just get on and just do this. And we managed to come out the other side. And it's a lot of the credit has to, no matter what, has to go to the supporters for sticking with us. So, you know, it's, you know, everyone that's been there, some of them don't come there, some of them stop coming and then come back again. But there's three great moments. But take the first promotion when we won 2-0 at home and Perry Carls and Jamie Curran scores against Burton, I think it was, with Bedford, one of those two.
Me and Simon were there for that.
I was at that game. I was 11, I think.
Yeah, but that was
Barton Rovers, wasn't it?
Barton Rovers, wasn't it?
Barton, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll never forget.
All the boys on the right above where you go into the with
all dancing on it,
all dancing on top of the trophy. I was right.
Yeah. That's it. Now that's a fantastic moment. But then when we beat Hayes in Yedding, I was stood next to Andy Smart, God bless his soul, and we were set up in the sort of big stands at Hayes and Yedding, and we hugged each other, and we both had tears in our eyes. And Andy Smart said, "I'm never going to forget this moment for as long as I live." And then I turned around and I looked at all our 700 odd supporters going around the corner with the flags and that before they run on the pitch. And that's when it is sort of like you get a goosebump moment. And I looked at it and said, all the crap that I put up with up until that point, it was probably for that one moment. And to see everyone happy and everyone crying and hugging grandchildren, granddads, dads, sons, everything, daughters, wives, it was absolutely unbelievable. And then we go up and we beat Sutton in the FA Cup. You know, even my son was there. I was behind the goal with my son and 3 of his mates, and they come over and he just couldn't believe it. And from a dad's point of view, when your son comes up and says, "Dad, you're doing a fantastic job," that's probably the one and only time I've actually sort of like taken the praise. And his big mate said, "Your club's brilliant. I love it here." That's when I've personally taken it. I said, "Thanks, son. That means a lot." And all the supporters come over and say, "Oh, it's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant." And then, of course, the Wrexham game. We get to Wrexham and, just seeing everyone there, and it was the same again, out singing the Wrexham fans. All the Wrexham, Phil Parkinson, all of them said that we're probably, I think the week before Aldershot went there, took 100 people with them. And they said that we were absolutely first class from the moment we turned up singing. And it was absolutely brilliant, and everyone said to me, Fleur, who's CEO, said, "You've got to be super proud of your club as a whole, supporters, players, everyone, because you've probably been one of the best away teams that have ever been down here since they've been there for years." And them sort of moments as a chairman, you sort of look back and think, great. But when you go 16 months and you haven't won an away game, that thing brings you back down. Because I had this conversation. See if you can remember when we went 16 months without winning an away game. Who did we beat and who was the goal scorer?
Oh, come on, Otis.
What was this for?
We went 16 to 8.
Game?
No, it was about 16. We went about 16 months without winning an away game. Probably about 5 seasons ago. Probably pre-COVID. I'll tell you who it was against. Yeah.
Go on.
It was against Met Police. Centre forward.
Yeah. Oh no, the name's left me.
So, Andy, any ideas?
I'm thinking. I don't know what I think. Mitchell Parker, but I think he might be a bit early.
Yeah. Oh.
Dennis Holly.
Dennis Ollie.
Oh yeah, Dennis Ollie.
Yeah, we went
football manager legend there.
Yeah, without winning the game, and I got home, and it's not far from my house, and literally got home. Oh, and it wasn't exactly the warmest night. Got in the back, got on the patio, got on a chair. I've actually got photos of these. I might actually send you one. And I got this great big Cuban cigar that somebody brought back a year previously. And I lit the cigar up in the back garden, and my missus come down and said, "What the hell are you doing?" Scotch as well. I said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "We won away from home, love." She said, "No, you don't understand. We haven't won for 16 months." The cigar's got to come out like that. She just went, "You're mad," and shut the door and left me out there. And it's freezing cold.
Left you out there all night and slept in sleeping bag.
Pretty much, yeah. But that's it. That's the celebration. That's the personal celebration that I do, because as I said, we're all supporters. We're all supporters of Farnborough. We're all supporters. You've got your other teams to support as well. But when it comes to Farnborough, I look at it, and Duncan's the same. We stood outside the turnstiles the other week, and we wanted to do that. We wasn't asked to do it. We wanted to do it and try and thank as many of the supporters for coming to the games as possible, because I just feel that our club has more of a personal contact between the supporters and the directors and the management than any other club that I've seen, to be fair.
Yeah, completely agreed.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I might hide if we start losing, but no, I'll still be there. I'll still be there, even if we lost, because at the end of the day, we're all there. We all want to do what's best for Farnborough, and I think if we all stick together, there's going to be a hell of a lot more good days than there are bad days. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, what you've done is what we've got is we've got a question from a previous guest on a previous episode to you. They didn't know that you were going to be the next guest. But what you've done is you've inadvertently answered the question. Their question was, what's your best? Their question was, what was your best moment? They said in football, but we would call it at the club. But you've literally just reeled off about 4 or 5 different moments that you would call.
Maybe what about an Oxford moment or a Juventus moment?
Yeah, no, I've got them, but I'll go on record and say this because I'm going to say this as a dad. Now, I've played football since I was 11. Played for teams like Sparta, Hounslow Town. I used to play down Denby Road, Osterley. I've played in Middlesex County leagues and stuff like that. We've had real good sort of like camaraderie between the players, and a lot of the players played for Hampton and stuff like that. And everyone used to sort of go around change the teams partway through the season and stuff. Alan Devonshire was my manager. Before first time we went to Maidenhead, and it was really good. He took half the team with him to Maidenhead, and it was really good. So I've had good moments with them. I've won my first ever cup final. I was sub. I came on, and this was for Sparta. We were playing Thames Valley Colts at Hampton and Richmond's ground, funny enough. On the way to the game, one of the players' granddad was driving us, but we was the last car in the convoy, and we went through the lights of Fulwell bus garage, and he got hit by another car. So it basically shook four of us up. All the parents decided that we should go on the bench because we might still be suffering from nerves and stuff. So we're on the bench, and I then get told that I'm going on at half time and just trying to enjoy it and that. And I scored 2 goals in the final. We ended up winning and got treated like a superstar and everything. So I've enjoyed personal success moments myself, but my son, basically, he gave up playing football because he wanted to do his education, but I didn't really get to see a lot of his school football because of obviously work and stuff like that. And but I got to see him. It was the last game of his schooling career, and he had to play against I think it's Magna Carta School. Now, in the other team was Jordan Houghton, who's one of his best mates. You might recognise the name. He plays for Plymouth at the moment. He was at Chelsea. He plays at Doncaster. He's been around. He's a real good player. And they had 4 Wimbledon players, and they were favourites to win. But it meant whoever won this last game would win the league. And basically, I got to watch my son win his footballing league, which from a dad is probably one of the proudest moments you're ever going to get in football.
Yeah.
And then also he played for Ashford Town, and same again. I didn't really get to watch much of his football because he would always felt that because his dad was involved in football, then it was always going to be hard. I was going to criticise him, but I got into playing against Tooting and Mitcham, and he hit probably about 30-yarder straight into the top corner, and they ended up winning 2-1. And the Tooting management and players, to say they were a big guy at the end is an understatement, because the previous week they won 7-1, and their attitude was completely disgusting, and what they were saying was absolutely. I think we could have reported it for racism, basically, because the Tooting players, the management were all black, and pretty much most of our players were white, so you can imagine what was being said. But I think that was a sort of like one special moment when watching my son score the winning goal growing up was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, you touched on it, Tom. Oxford, when we won the 1985 Cup final.
Yeah.
2010, when we was at Wembley, won the playoff final. They're fantastic moments.
Sam Deering.
Yeah, the first thing we done when we signed him, I brought him here to my house, and down the back there, I've got a bit of a shrine to Oxford and Juventus, to be fair. I call it the games room. I've got signed photos of everyone. Up in the bedroom, my boy's bedroom. It's my boy's bedroom, he's not living anymore, he's moved out. But I've got, obviously, I think every English player's got one, a signed Jeff Hurst shirt from the World Cup. And he's a massive United fan, my son. And I keep saying he's going to get over it, but he hasn't yet. He's got when Ronaldo scored the header against Chelsea at Moscow, in the Champions League final. Well, we got a photo of that. Pardon?
2008.
Something like that. Yeah. He's got the Ronaldo when he's jumping and header in the ball. We've got the signed photographs from Ronaldo. That's on one side of his picture. On the other side is a signed programme from all the United's team. And literally in the middle is a replica Champions League medal. So it's all framed and everything. And it is nice. And, It's them sort of things when you do football. I'm very let's say when it comes to football, I'm quite easily pleased, but it makes me feel better when I see other people smiling, other people enjoying it. So, which is what it was. I can see the full of all of you now, Tom. I used to see part of you before. Have you changed your screen?
We lost him for a bit. He's on his iPhone now.
Oh, all right. But
Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah, so going back to that, I think proudest moment in football, the most special moment is watching my son play and winning the league and obviously beating Tooting and Mitcham. It's brilliant answer. Yeah, I think it's
what's your question then for our next guest?
Right, I would say the question I would ask is who has been your hero and what is the real reason that you're involved in football?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant question.
Yeah, because that can be addressed by a player or even a manager or not. I mean, this is for real. I think you might have seen a photograph of me with Glenn Hoddle a couple of weeks ago. I sort of spoke to him and that, and was having a chat. His brother was there as well, and I said, "Look, I'm going to ask you a question." He said, "But it's nothing to do with football. It's probably the strangest question you've ever been asked." And he said, "What's that?" I said, "Did your mum used to work in a factory in Hayes?" And he went, "How the hell do you know that?" I said, "Put it this way, I bet you never went short of cereal, did you?" He looked at me and went, "How the hell did you know that?" I said, "Because my mum used to tell me a story that she used to work in Nestle's in Hayes, and it used to be your mum and Alan Dennis's mum and my mum. Basically, we used to work together. Every time you used to come on football, either on Tottenham or on England, she said, "That's the kid that's the mum I used to play." And I said, "Well, Mum, if I ever meet him, I'll ask him the question." I said, "So, true to my word, I've asked you the question." And he said, "Well, your mum was correct, so you could tell your mum that she was correct. As sadly, she passed away." And he went, "Yeah, so is my mum." He said, "But what a small world that is." So,
brilliant.
Yeah, so that's
good. Your question is really good, Si, but unfortunately, unbeknownst to you, our next guest on the podcast is Tom's mum, so I don't know if she's going to answer that very well. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but we'll ask her anyway. See what she says.
If it's Tom's mum, then I've changed my question to, you deserve a medal. And the best thing you can do is move while he's at university.
Yeah.
And taking down the hairdressers, for God's sake.
Yeah, and just don't leave forward in the dress. But no, it's as I said, we'll answer any questions we can. I mean, regarding the football club, because it's your club. It's your club.
Yeah.
We never for 1 second think it's ours. That's why we are sort of looking at this. I don't know. I'm surprised you didn't ask me about the pilot scheme thing we're looking to try and do. Where people can buy shares and stuff.
I've signed up to that.
Yeah, no, that's something that we're looking to do. I mean, you've probably done your homework and looked at Dorking do it. There's a lot of clubs that do it. You can start off with as little as £20, but I just think that it gives you some sort of you're proud anyway because you support Farnborough, but you can actually go into work and say, actually, no, I've got an investment in this football club. It just gives you something more to talk about and that. So, it is good. It definitely does. It helps the club out as well. As you said, if we were to look at getting LED floodlights and so on and so forth, all this money that would be potentially invested by everyone will be used against that. So, we've got a supporters trust already passed. I think for the first time ever, I don't think we really used them this year. They laid on the supporters trust the minibuses and the coach and stuff like that. They paid for all of that themselves, and literally, as I said, the club's in such a good position. But for those of you that have looked into it, and the ones that have put a bit of money in, we thank everyone. But those of you that haven't looked into it, it might be worth just having a look and just seeing what benefits you get from it as well. So
absolutely.
Via Seeds is the company, isn't it? Seeds, it's by.
That's it. Yeah. Because Dorking do it, and there's other clubs that do it. They all do it, and it's not. It's a way of making you feel not. I hate sort of saying things like this, make you feel it's not more important because you are important anyway. But it just gives you a little bit extra when you're going to the ground because when you turn up there, if you're coming with your mates or whatever, you can say, look, I actually invest in this. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
this is part of me. This
Helps.
is, you know,
Helps
yeah.
fans be a bit more connected.
Yeah.
Definitely. This is why we always said, you know, for the fans that look at this, I've said it all along. If there's questions to ask, just ask the questions. And you know, I'm there every match day. I always walk around at least once to see everyone, even the away games. If there's something you want to ask. You know, because we're not hiding stuff from supporters. And one thing we don't do is we won't disclose and tell you things if they don't happen, because it makes us look stupid. You know, there's other clubs that have gone out and said we're getting a new 3G pitch. Yeah, I'm building new change rooms. We're doing all this summer, and then when you start the following year, they haven't done anything. You're playing on grass, and it's like, I thought you were getting 3G pitch. You know, as we're looking at every option for football club. You know, but the main thing is to make sure that we keep the supporters and everyone else at the club involved in the discussions and everything that is going on. You know, if we do, I'm pretty sure I've said this, that you know, I'm willing to do a forum at the club. You know, I'll see if I can get Duncan would definitely be up for it, and I'll see if I can get somebody else involved, and then the questions and answer things.
Yeah, that'd be excellent. That fans forum would be really good.
They can ask us. You know, the one thing we won't discuss is salaries. You know, for the players.
Yeah,
obviously personal, and but anything else with regards to ambitious. You know, people ask if we was ambitious and that, and you know, we are. Alan and Eddie that have come in, they are very ambitious and that they love the club. They absolutely love it, and you know, it's one of them. They're proud to be involved in it. They really are. Both of them. The first thing they did when we sort of signed all the thousands of forms was right, give me a project. I want something to do. Give me something to do. I need something to do like that. So we're thinking, bloody hell, you know. And Duncan's always looking to improve stuff. You know, the community trust has come on. We're looking to implement some girls' teams and stuff like that. Maybe even a girls' academy as well. You know, so it's going to benefit the whole community and the supporters and stuff. And you know, we're looking to grow the family at Farnborough. With that, I mean, you know, we've got I've got an interview this week with a new welfare officer and stuff like that. So you know, the club is growing and it's growing at a good rate. Rather than just take all these people in and they all want extra money, stuff like that. I've had 2 people contact me. One of them basically pretty much said he wanted to come in this position. And then he was very, very keen to get involved in it. It's probably about a month ago. But then I had to make sure that he understood that we were all volunteers and we don't get paid. No, we don't get paid. The only ones that get paid on a match day is stewards and the bar staff. That's it.
Yeah.
No one else gets paid. Everyone else is volunteer. The burger bars get a small amount, which Roger sorts out and stuff. And you know, it's one of them. So when people are surprised that we're not paying each other at Farnborough, you know, and it costs me money every time I come to Farnborough, no matter what, you know. So, but that's my choice, you know. I don't get it back. You know, I go to meetings in Chesterfield, Telford. You know, a lot of it now, thank God, is Zoom. But I do that to represent the club and everything. Next month, next month, 8th of June, we're at Celtic Mallet for the AGM. So after the 8th of June, you do know the league starts on the 10th, don't you, of August?
Yeah, August, yeah.
August,
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, I know. Literally when I'm coming back on Sunday morning, which will be the 9th of June, I'll pretty much have all the fixtures and everything else ready by then, I should think. Who exactly is in what league and stuff like that, and you know, there'll be other information given to us and stuff, which is all going to be good. And then what we try and do is try and get as much information out as possible as quickly as we can, so that you, the supporters, can sort of start making your plans around them and stuff. So, and yeah, that's it. We are looking to do maybe get the old calendar, fixtures calendars. You remember the little ones we used to do?
Yeah, they're good those.
Yeah.
Put them in the club shop again. We're looking at Sue's looking at any idea to, potentially. I want to try and get some bucket hats with Farnborough on as well, and I would have been nice to get them ready for the summer, because then you go to all the festivals and see all the farmer hats on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we're working with people, and we are literally going to continue to work with people, and that's what it's about, really. It's not about us making decisions; it's about us as a club making decisions, which includes yourselves as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
good stuff.
Okay. Was there anything else, or
No,
No,
I think we've covered pretty much everything. I am a bit conscious of time because we've been going for about 2 hours, just over 2 hours already.
yeah? I'll
Um,
pass. Miss is
but
probably upstairs. So
I think this is probably a good point to stop, and don't go off anywhere, Simon, because we'll have a little chat when we come off air. But thanks for coming on today,
Yeah,
tonight,
no worries.
and thanks for a great season. Thanks for supporting us on the podcast as well, all season. It's been an absolute pleasure doing this for the club. That's why we do it.
Listen, on behalf of all the directors, we want to thank you and all the supporters and everyone else that volunteers and gives up their time for the club. It's one of them. We are as one, and it is our club. It's never. I don't think I've ever used the word my club. If I do, you feel free to slap me around the head, because it's not. It's our club, and we're together. Is together as every single part. We will continue to grow. So, yeah, as I said, we'll sort something out near pre-season. We'll obviously talk about the podcast and moving that on and trying to help you develop that in every way we can, and to get you more involved in it. It's a pleasure having a chat with you chaps, even you, Tom.
Always.
Yeah. Okay, but next time you see me in the crowd, Tom, I'll expect a pint off you. Okay.
Consider it done.
Okay, mate. No worries.
Pint of water. That is just good. Remember,
Yeah, I did.
Good to
I made
hydrate.
a couple of seasons ago. There was a fantastic support by the youngsters when I think we played at Cheltenham Giles. I think it was at Cheltenham Peters, and they were fantastic. And I went up to them and said, "You all coming to the game on Saturday?" They went, "Yeah." And I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll have a crate of beer waiting for you." And then went till afterwards, someone come up to me and said, "You do realise they're 15 years old, don't you?" Oh God. So I keep getting reminded that you still owe us a crate of beer. We're 18 now. So, okay, fine. But yeah, no, just keep doing what you're doing, lads. It's much appreciated. Okay.
Thanks, Simon.
Thank you
Much
very
appreciated.
much.
Right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Right, thanks. That leads me to say thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks for everybody that's watching on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube as well. And we will be back very soon with another episode. Good night.